how can you explain the struggles of just being a woman, being born at the time that you were?
Hmm.
Women were very silenced. And what was that like? Did you experience any of that?
Well, when I was born, and my parents separated when I was 6. Um, and so my mom basically raised me by herself. My dad was in and out of the picture. And it amazes me that everything my mom was able to accomplish with me, um, by herself. You know, she has always been a really strong, independent person. She's never had to rely on a man. Um, Even growing up, she had her life growing up was very difficult. My grandfather was a heavy drinker when she was growing up. There was a lot of issues there, and she had to grow up very fast. She was, you know, the oldest, and never really had a real childhood. And so I think it forced her to be very independent. And so when her marriage to my dad failed, it was just okay, pick up the pieces,
Mm.
here we go. Um, and she did work. She did work that was, she was able to be around for me. So I wasn't. I never came home to an empty house. Um, and she always made me believe that I could do whatever I wanted to do. She kind of instilled that in me. Um, and even my father, with the relationship that we have struggled with, um, I remember as a kid, I said to him one day, I can't do that, Dad. And he said, can't is not in our vocabulary. He said, you may not know how to do it right now, but that does not mean that you cannot learn to do it. And he said, you can do anything you want to do. And at one point, I was the youngest person to ever have climbed Mount Washington.
Really?
And
Got your name in the history book somewhere, huh?
somewhere, I don't know, but that's what they said. Um, yeah, and I loved doing that. I loved. That was probably one of my best memories with my dad. Um, was my time with him hiking and traveling in the car. And, he lived a lot of places. He was kind of a rolling stone when I was growing up. And so I would go and go fly out west to see him, and spend a couple weeks with him, and we'd get in the car and travel all around. And we had some of our best conversations in the car as a kid. Um, and unfortunately, I don't have a relationship with him at this point in my life, which is a big regret. But it's something that is really beyond my control at this point. So I all I can do is wish him the very best, and go on and do my life, you know, but I still have those memories, those childhood memories, which I think both my parents, they instilled that in me. And so when things got tough, I would remember that. And, you know, it's interesting because I have worked for men and I've worked for women, and except for a few exceptions, I always preferred working for a man.
Really?
Because I found that women are very competitive and will really go to all lengths to get ahead. And I always preferred, you know, I have had a couple of women that I really enjoyed working for, that I have a lot of respect for. But yeah.
Okay. So we're definitely going to get into that again one of these days when I'm off.
Okay.
You brought up regrets,
Yeah.
and this will be the final question for today. What is your deepest regrets?
I think my deepest regret is that I wasn't able to make the relationship with my father the way I would have liked. I was not able to kind of cut through the issues at hand that caused it, and I was not able to make him see where, you know, where I was on this. And, you know, good or bad, I mean, he, like everybody, I mean, he has very good qualities along with all the other stuff in there. And I've moved past the anger. You know, for quite a while, I had that anger in me, and I had to let that go because that was really consuming me. And I realized that. I was like, that's not healthy. That's not healthy for me, for my family. And so I did what I had to do for the sake of my family, my immediate family, my husband, my children. And for me, it was cutting the relationship off because it had gotten to a point where it was just really toxic with him and his second wife. And I realized that there really wasn't anything I could do. So.
Okay. Well, I thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
I thank you so much, and we are definitely going to do this again because I have
right.
enjoyed listening.
Sounds good.
Definitely.
It's been great.
Thank you.